So, only this little package to open today. Today wasn't a particularly big release day. In fact, I can't remember the other things that got released, but oh well. This is all that arrived today. Akikan, the complete collection. This is all 12 episodes in the OVA on 2 DVDs, and this is a very strange sounding series. Let's go ahead and hold it open just to see what the insides look like. Yeah. Just because I'm curious right now. Well, I guess that answered that question. Anyways, as you probably guessed, that's not all the new releases. First up, we've got the Japanese collection of Transformers, which has Headmasters, which was released earlier last year, Super God Master Force, and Victory. Now, I guess I haven't looked yet, but this looks like the same Headmasters thing that was released earlier. I could probably just dig it out of the bookshelf, but I started recording and yeah, I don't know. So for those of you who don't know, basically the original Transformers series you know about, I think the animation was done in Japan, although everything else about the series was made here in the US, and basically once the series ended here with season 4, I believe the Japanese continued it on, which is very strange. But anyways, today's its official release date. Let's see, and last week a re-release of Dirty Pair and OVA series collection came out. Let's see if I haven't opened this yet. I mean, this was released last week, but it didn't show up until Tuesday. And it occurs to me that I probably could have gotten it earlier on time if I had ordered the Right Stuff itself, because I see here it's a Nozomi Right Stuff release. So let's see. Yeah, I hate it when the plastics do that. Oh well. I'll clean that up after. Oh. Didn't even realize it had one of these on it. But yeah. Anyways, this actually brings a lot of the Dirty Pair stuff that's been a lot of Dirty Pair stuff is out now. Because of this. This has 3 DVDs in it, so I'm wondering if this is literally just a simple reprinting of previously released DVDs. Oh well, the reason I mentioned previously released DVDs is, of course, once I had this, the only thing I didn't have was the 3 movies, and so I bought this ADV video movie collection. The end of the universe as we know it. Oh well, anyways, as far as I know, that means that I've got all the Dirty Pair stuff that's been released. And then, let's see, I started collecting some of Yu-Gi-Oh! Season 5. This would be the first 14 episodes of it. And I finally went out and I got this, as far as I know, the only Digimon release, the only official Digimon series release there's been, at least here in the US. And yeah, I haven't poked around too much to see if this is definitely the right thing, but I'm pretty sure it is. It just doesn't have that. It has a very kids showy sort of release feel to it, at least 2000s one. And then finally we've got Leo the Lion Volume 3. So Leo the Lion is basically the 80s sequel to Kimba the White Lion. And I ordered all 3 volumes, as you can guess, but only Volume 3 arrived in time. Actually, the other 2 would have arrived yesterday, I guess, except the post office said they made a delivery attempt. I don't know how you can fail to deliver something to place of business while business hours are there and everybody's there and there's a mailbox and I don't know. That was real confusing. But we'll worry about those next week. For now, I've got the third and final volume of Leo the Lion. That's been released, of that series. Because as far as I can tell, yeah, it's just those three. Nice and simple. But, yeah, I'm babbling a bit. I guess before I end, let's see. The Japanese Transformers collection also came with this envelope, which has this in it. I don't know how to show it to you other than the camera, so let's take a peek at it. Yeah. Nothing on the back. Just a blank piece of cardboard on the back, so yeah, there we go. Okay, this time that's all of this week's new additions to the collection. So I guess we've got a good number of releases coming out next week. I probably won't. Well, I'm going to pad next week's release maybe just a little bit, but not too much. Unless, of course, the one thing about next week is we don't really know how much. This is kind of an uncertain week as far as I'm concerned, because there are a couple Bandai releases, I think, and I'm a bit worried about whether or not those are actually going to get released on time, especially since Amazon doesn't even have the images for like the Star Driver 2 DVD and Blu-ray, and I think that's next week. So I guess I'm going to have to watch it really carefully, and whatever doesn't ship on Sunday, I'll pad next week's release with a bunch of stuff next day shipped, ordered on Monday. So everything should be fine in terms of next week. Also, I know my other two Leo the Lion DVDs are in town, so those will be here next week as well. They should be. If they're not, then somebody's not doing something right, and I don't know who it is. I suspect the post office, because it's kind of unusual for two separate sellers to write down my address wrong, so I think, well, I don't know. Otherwise, the other thing was, let's see. So, when I moved into my new place, I, of course, alphabetized the collection up to that point, and I have to say that's actually really convenient, especially for just digging out a random series, because now I know exactly where to go find it, even if it's not something I would normally know how to find. In preparing for and doing inside the box has become so much easier. Also, a lot more counter space for preparing DVDs to show. Although this week's was a nice small release, or a nice small update. Well, I don't know. But yeah, the problem is, of course, that this is all of last week's releases, and they're in my hand as opposed to up there. So there's definitely a element of upkeep there that is slowing things down. That's pretty unfortunate. But anyways, I don't know. I should stop putting it off sometime in the near future because, well, I can't have other things to do all the time. And it just may end up piling up a little bit in the near future simply because I've been playing... I think I mentioned this in anime analysis as well, but one of the things that's the reason I haven't watched as much anime this week is because I started playing The Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword. My Wii was sent in to Nintendo because it wasn't reading discs, and I got it back last week and just tested it out enough to make sure it was playing Brawl because I wanted to invite my brothers over and so that they could see the place now that I've completely moved in, blah, 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 blah. But the other thing is I needed to start playing Skyward Sword again soon because it had been like a month since I last touched it. You leave a game like that alone too long and eventually you get too lost as to how to get back into it, and you just keep putting it off more and more after that. And this is Skyward Sword. It's been entertaining, and admittedly, the way I've been playing, grindish. Although, I just finally finished the second dungeon about 21 hours into the game, but that was actually a pretty cool boss. I thought, at least. But yeah, anyways, that's all a bunch of babbling stuff. We'll see what next week's release is like. There could be surprises in store, or you can just look at what's releasing next week and probably guess what I'm going to get. We can just assume the Bandai stuff's going to come in on time unless noted otherwise, right? So yeah, there we go. Y'all have a nice week.